Hello, hello. Welcome back to Firestorm Freerunning's series of Firestorm at Home. I almost said rendition, like we've never done this before. So welcome. This is Coach Summer. I am Coach Summer. Speaking in third person, Coach Freelove is manning the camera, and this is our home. So welcome to our home. This is episode 17 of AcroFlex. Oh my goodness. We've come a long way. I hope you have definitely felt at least some, flexibility or any just mobility changes. That is always my goal for you, is opening up, everything that we should be stretching and we should be, resting and recovering. And now that we have so much time on our hands, focus on goals that you've been putting aside. So I know I definitely have with stretching with you guys for every episode, because if you haven't noticed, Coach Freelove and I are demonstrating. We are, showing what it's supposed to be, so we are getting a workout of our own. Coach Freeland definitely feels some soreness from his 3 streams yesterday. Going forward, we will have only strength and conditioning and parkour on Friday, so we will no longer have our tricking series. That one is done. With a lot of what Coach Freelove did with that series, it is episodical, so it starts from episode 1 all the way up until yesterday's episode. So it does get more difficult as they go by, but it'll be a fun time. So what we are doing today, or what we'll need today, is you'll need your mats. We're going to keep it really simple today, opening up those front and back splits. I know it's been a little bit of time since we've done that, so we're going to go over that today and probably focus a little more on that going forward, because I know a lot of you have your splits or want your splits. The next thing that you'll need is a yoga block. This is mostly to help you with balance. So if you have a book that can take at least some of your weight, or if you have a coffee table nearby that you can do your stretches around or near, so if you need to, put a little weight on there or find your balance coming up, that is definitely helpful. It's definitely not needed, but if you need a little bit more of that assistance or need that, if you want to deepen any of the stretches as well, is you can use a yoga block or a book. I do suggest a hardback book. The reason being is because soft covers or paper covers, if they bend, and we don't want to bend literature. With our hardbacks, they've got a pretty hard back. So anyway, make sure to have your water nearby you as well. We are going through a little bit of a heat wave, so we want to make sure that you guys are hydrated, since we are sweating more and we're still working out. And summer 2020 isn't technically canceled. It's still coming. It's just we're not going to the beach and we're not, hanging out in social groups as of right now. If we all do our part and we stay indoors, we will get this over with and the world recover. So anyway, we are going to start off with mobility, and then grab a drink of water, and then we'll get started. It's going to be a fun day today, guys. Alright, starting in Crisscross Applesauce. Excuse me. Your hands are going to go on your knees. You're going to sit with a straight spine and a straight posture. We're going to close our eyes here. We're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. We're going to let our head fall to our chest. Our chin's going to connect to our chest. We're going to feel this stretch here. Ooh, I definitely feel it on my left side. But we are going to roll our necks all the way around. I'm going to start clockwise. So my ear is going to go to my right shoulder. Ooh. Rolling all towards the back. To the left ear. Back to chest. And I'm going to do this 3 more times at your guys' own pace. But make sure you're not just whipping your hair or whipping your head around. We don't need any neck injuries today. We want to preserve our neck. Alright, and once your chin reaches to your chest, wherever you are at, we're going to roll towards the opposite side. You always want to do both sides. You're going to feel one side might be better, and one side you need to work on more. And I want once your chin reaches your chest, you're going to hang out there. You're just going to let gravity take your head down. If you need a little extra weight, you can intertwine your fingers and place them on the back of your head towards the lower back. Remember, we're not pulling down, we're not pushing down. We are literally just putting the weight of our hands and our arms on our head. And looking back and straight forward, we're going to look from right to left, turning our head as far as possible. We don't want to turn our shoulders here. We're just looking to the right and to the left. And we want to keep our eye line a little up. The more we look down, our head will naturally start to look towards the ground, and we want to have that straight posture. You want to make sure your shoulders aren't sneaking up to your neck. All right, beautiful. Coming back to neutral, we are going to tilt our head to the side so our ear is going to connect with our shoulder. So I'm going to start with my right side first. My right ear is going to connect to the right shoulder. I am pushing both shoulders down. If you need that little extra bit of weight, put your hand on your head. Remember, no pulling or pushing. Your hand is just resting on your head. Trying to open up your neck. And slowly hand comes off and to the other side. If you need that extra bit of weight, place your hand on there. Remembering to breathe, guys. And slowly coming back, we are going to do our slight up and over. So my right hand and my right elbow is going to touch the ground. I'm going to come over with my left. I am still pressing my left hip in or glute into the ground, so I'm not lifting up. I am opening up through the chest, looking through the armpit, and use that top hand to bring you up and over onto the other side. So left hand, left elbow, come to the mat. Right arm is on top. I'm pushing my right hip or glutes into the ground so it is not coming up. Open up through the chest. And using that top arm to bring you up. Beautiful job, friends. That right arm is going to come across your chest. Your left arm is going to press into it. Your thumb is rotated up. And rotate that right thumb down. And pulling that arm towards our back. So right hand is reaching towards the center of my back. My left arm is going to pull down on that elbow. Beautiful. Opening up those arms. Left arm is now across our chest. Our right arm is pushing that arm in, helping us out with that stretch. Oof. Go, letting go. That left hand is going to come up towards the ceiling and reach towards your back. Right hand is going to come to the elbow and help assist us with pulling that elbow a little bit down. All right, and slowly coming undone. Our legs are going to come into a pike stretch. Ooh, I can feel the outside of my legs. Oh my gosh. I worked out yesterday. It was hard, but it was worth it. Alright, right leg is going to come over my left leg. My right ankle is going to be above my left knee. I'm going to grab my ankle and my toes, and I'm going to rotate my ankle in one direction. other direction. Beautiful. That right knee and that right foot, they're going to come up, and that foot's going to plant on the opposite side of my left leg. My left arm and my right arm are going to help me out with our Hollywood stretch. Pushing away and turning towards the right. And slowly unwinding. We're going to keep our leg there. I'm going to move my foot into my hip crease or right on my quad or thigh, and I'm going to do a fold over and try and reach for my left leg. I am pointing out that foot. And slowly coming up and over. And letting that right leg down. That left leg is now going to come up above my right knee. Grabbing my ankle, my foot, I'm going to rotate that ankle in one direction. And rotate in the opposite direction. And that foot and that knee are going to come back up and over, planting that foot. Right arm and left leg are going to help me turn towards the left. And slowly unwinding, taking that foot into my hip crease. I'm going to lean forward and reach towards my right leg. And slowly coming up. Both legs are together. We're going to go through a quick little ankle stretchy do, pointing both those toes and flexing. Flexing so hard your heels are coming off the ground. And point those toes. And flex. I realize now that even through my pointing your toes, my heels are not touching the ground. I'm pointing through my legs. And relax. All right. Coming into, we're going to lay flat on our backs. I'm going to bring my right knee into my chest. I'm going to leave my left leg down. Ooh, I'm going to pull that right knee into my chest. Woo. And now I'm going to pull it out to the side. So opening up that hip, opening up that leg. And back to your chest. Now we're going to fold that leg over our left leg, looking towards the right. Ooh, the back just pops. Feels great. Remember to breathe, guys. Slowly open up those hips. Your legs are going to be in a figure four. You're going to bring that bottom leg up. Hands through the middle of your legs and your outside of your thigh. And bring that knee in. You should be in your, almost like a little pretzel shape. You should be feeling this on your right side still, which is the leg that is crossed over. And if not, you should do the opposite side. Go to the left for this next one. We always want to make sure we are stretching both sides, not just one side. Beautiful. Bring that left knee into your chest. Take that right leg to the ground. Hold that knee in your chest. And bring that knee out to the left side. Open up that hip to the side. that knee back to the chest. Oof. And crossing that knee over our right leg, looking towards the left. Beautiful, and unwinding. We're still going to be here flat on our backs. We are going to bring our feet up. We're going to go into our happy baby. So we're going to grab the inside of our feet and pull those knees and those feet into the ground. I like to rock side to side because I feel like it deepens my stretch of the knees for whatever direction I'm in. If you want to hold it here because you already feel the stretch, you're more than welcome to. But if you want to challenge yourself a little bit, roll through that happy baby. You might find that, oh, if I straighten my legs out a little bit, I feel my hips kind of open up more. So wherever you are, we're just waking up our hips. We're like, good morning, it's Saturday. Get up. All right, and slowly coming off of those feet, bringing those knees into your chest. You're going to do rock and rolls until we get enough momentum to come up. Whee! All right, beautiful. Coming onto knees and hands, coming into our tabletop is what I like to call this. We're going to go through our cat-cows real quick just to get our spine moving. So remember, cat is you are hollowing out your body, you're pushing through your shoulders, almost like a fraidy cat that you see on Halloween. And then our head is going to come into a neutral state. So we're not sticking it out, we're letting it hang between our shoulders and our arms. And then we're going to go into our cow, which is an arched position. So you're turning your tailbone towards the ceiling, and you are looking up towards the ceiling as well, arching that back. We're going to flow through this. So going into our cat, hollow that back out, the head comes into neutral. And we're going to go into cow, arch that back, look up towards the ceiling. Find your flow here. Come back and forth. Cat, cow. You should feel this in your shoulders as well. Five more seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. We're going to come into our neutral spine, so we're not in an arch or we're in a hollow. But now we are going to turn our rib cage and our spine clockwise and counterclockwise. We're still going to be in this tabletop here. So what I mean by that, I'm going to give you kind of like a side profile thing, is if I have a stick coming out of my chest or a sternum coming out of my chest, it is going to show my, right now that since my chest is low, and it's coming straight out. I want to think in my mind of having my chest come clockwise, to the right, down, and to the side, back up, and then counterclockwise. So we are going to come off in neutral. If you want to start off at the top, that's usually what I like to do because it's a visual for me. I'm at 12 o'clock. I move my rib cage and my spine to the right. 3 o'clock, I arch my back. My spine is down low. 6 o'clock, to the left, and then back up. So I'm going to flow through this. When I'm at my top of my arch, my shoulders are pressing to the ground. When I'm in my arch, I can feel my shoulders touch behind my back. So we're just going to flow through this, arching and hollow with your sides. Once you reach the top, wherever you're at, you're going to go into the opposite direction. You're going to feel that one side is a lot better than the other. Oh. All right, and coming back into a neutral spine, we are going to tuck our toes under our feet, and we're going to sit up on our toes. So you're going to feel your toe arch right here. I'm going to go through my wrist stretches real quick here. Intertwining your fingers, you're going to rotate those wrists in one direction. rotating opposite direction. Hello. And beautiful. I'm going to untuck those toes. I'm going to lay those toes flat behind me. Ooh, sitting back on those heels. I can definitely feel the stretch there. I'm going to be coming and we're giving a little bit more wrist stretches. We're going to have our hands or fingers facing towards us, palms towards the ground. We're going to sit back on our heels. The closer it is towards you, the easier it's going to be. So if you want a little bit of a challenge, bring those hands out, or if you're already on your heels, bring your hands out a little more so you can work something. You're giving yourself a little bit more of a challenge to deepen that wrist stretch. Ooh. And shoulders over those hands. Flip those hands over so your palms are facing up. And sitting back on those heels. I have to move this closer. Alright, beautiful friends. Coming off those hands, shaking out those hands, we are going to go into our first drink of water. I will see you back here in just a sec. Alright, friends, coming back, hello. I know, fast camera work, you got it. Alright, friends, we are going to be needing that yoga block around now. So this is purely just for your balance and if you need to deepen your stretch. If you don't need to deepen or need balance and you're just working where you're at, then you don't need this. Don't need your coffee table, don't need this whatsoever, but this is to give us a challenge or to help us out a little bit. So going into, we are working our front and back splits. We're going to be working both sides, not just a good side, both sides, because it's always good to have it on either side. Who knows where you might be needing your opposite side split to get into some sort of trick or another. So we are going to be doing that. I'm going to make sure that I move her out of the way. Thank you. Didn't even need to touch you. Yoga block is going to be near us. You want it to be somewhere near the edge of your mat where your hand could be able just to grab it. So I'm going to be facing towards my right. I am going to have my left leg in front of me though. So I'm going to be facing towards my right, left leg in front of me. I'm going to do my triangle rock. So both toes are facing towards the top of the mat is what I'm going to call it. My yoga block is over off here to the left side of my hand, so if I do need to grab it, it is right there. I'm going to come down, my feet are slightly separated. If I was standing towards the camera, they would be probably a little bit more than shoulder width apart. So in this triangle stance, we want to make sure that both of our toes are facing in the right direction. My back leg is not, so I need to correct that. Beautiful. Awesome. So they're now fitting in the same direction. If you want to use the edge of your mat as a line so you can more accurately line your toes up, more than welcome to, but we just want them in the same facing direction. So coming back over, I'm going to come with a flat back down my front leg. Remembering to breathe here. If you need your balance, this is where you would grab your yoga block or you'd be grabbing your coffee table. Taking a deep breath and letting go all the way down. Oh my goodness. And we are going to shift our weight forward, pointing the toe in the back. Shift the weight backward, flexing the foot in the front. And triangle rocks here. I am going to be using my block. And stopping there, take a deep breath, and breathe out. With that breath out, my right leg is going to float towards the back of the mat. I'm coming into a lunge right here. My arms are still towards the ground right now. Right here, I want to make sure that my form is all correct, that my knee is not past my ankle, it's right above my ankle, that my back leg is not on the ground, it is pressing straight up, and that my toes are curled behind me, they're not flat on the ground. From here, I want you to build your way up. If you are right here and you're like, I can't move anymore, use that yoga block, use that coffee table to give yourself a little bit of leeway. If this is somewhere we've been before, I want you to slowly try and come up to your knee and balance here. And then if this is, if right here is where you're normally at and you want to challenge yourself, start to lift your chest. You eventually want your shoulders to come over your hips. Keeping a straight back. Oh my goodness. Woo. This is my less practiced side. For those looking for more of a challenge, if you're already shoulders above knees, lift those hands towards the ceiling. And rest that back knee. Flatten out that back foot. Go deeper into that forward hip stretch. So forward press those hips all the way. We want to make this area right here non-existent eventually. But it's going to be a journey. It's going to be fun, friends. Alright, hands coming down to either side of that front foot. We are going to straighten out that front leg. And we're pointing out that front toe. We are leaning forward, trying to get our chin to our knee and our nose to our toes. And we're going to flex that front foot. Point out that front foot, and we're going to rock that leg from pinky toe to big toe. And stopping that motion, coming into our forward lunge, we are going to cheat out those toes to the corner of the mat as well as that knee, and your hands are going to come to the inside of that mat. If you're up here on your hands and you feel the stretch here, that's totally fine. If you want a deeper stretch, now that you have your yoga block or your book, you can start to make your way a little bit lower. So here I am on my elbows, but I'm not all the way on the ground. I'm putting my elbows on the yoga block. If you're from the yoga block and you're like, I could do this better, come all the way down to the ground. Push into those hips. Don't forget to breathe. And coming up from those hands to either side, we are going to go into our pigeon stretch right here. So that front foot is going to come to the side. Woo. And I'm making sure my shoulders are square with the top of the mat. I eventually want to get my front leg to be as straight as the top of the mat. But right now, my leg is coming a little bit down below on a down slope, and that's okay. But I am going to open up my hips here. So what I mean by that is my shoulder and my chest are up. I'm going to be sitting on my bottom, looking towards the inside of my leg, and closing those hips back up by squaring up with the top of the mat. So we're just going to come opening and closing the door of our hips of flexibility. It's great. If you can straighten out your leg to be a little bit more parallel with that top of the mat, please do so. But know when it's too much, when you are not able to move, you're like, I can't even open and close my hips. You might be a little bit too far into it. All right, beautiful. And close those hips. That left leg is going to straighten out in front of you, and that right leg, which is behind, is going to bend. So bending into a jazz stretch is what that's called. So pointed toe in the front, left leg bent leg towards the right. I'm going to flip around so you guys can see that actually. So, bent leg behind, pointed toe in front. I'm going to lean towards that front leg. And flexing that front foot. And pointing that out. We are now going to come onto the back of our leg. So right here, if you lean back onto your hands, your chest is open, you feel the stretch here, cool, stay here. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, start making your way down to your elbows. If you can't quite make your elbows, bend those arms to where you feel that stretch. But if we can come to our elbows, please do. If we can come all the way down, even better. Wherever we're at, we're going to hang out here. Deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Beautiful. Slowly start to make your way up and bringing that bent leg around into that pike stretch. Pointed toes coming up and over those toes. Flexing those toes. And pointing it out. And beautiful. We're going to do our opposite side. So standing back on up, we are going to come into our triangle rocks. I'm going to face towards the front of my mat still. So right leg is now in front, not left leg. I'm going to make clothing adjustments so my belly doesn't show. So my right leg is now in front. I'm going to go into my triangle rocks here. Toes I want to make sure are facing in the same direction. Beautiful. And coming down to the flat back. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, letting go all the way down. And shifting your weight towards the front, point that back toe. Shifting your weight towards the back, flex that front foot, and back and forth. And stopping here. That right foot's going to stay in the front. That left leg is going to come back. Your front leg is going to bend. And we're going to come into a lunge. We want to make sure that our knee and our ankle are in the same direction and that my toes are not tucked underneath. Or they are tucked underneath, they're not the back of the toe. So coming here is where we are going to find our balance.
Oh, why did you do that? You're good.
Hello. Sorry. Coach Freelove was exploring buttons.
No, we got a comment.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi. Who's in front?
K Kulu?
Who?
K Kulu?
Hello. Thanks for joining. Alright, that lunge, we're going to be here. Deep breath. And bending that back leg, resting it on the ground, making sure the back of those toes are flattened out. I need to press a little bit forward into my heel or my front leg, so I'm going to make adjustments. Dipping into those hips more. And hands on either side of that front leg, shifting that weight towards the back, straightening out that front leg. We're going to be here in a pointed toe. Pointing out that foot, that front foot, and flexing that front foot. Alright, pointing out that foot, and we're going to go pinky toe to big toe turns on that front leg. Alright, and pointing through that toe, bending that front leg, cheating out those toes and those knees to the outside corner of the mat. Your hands are going to be on the inside of that leg. If you're up here on your hands, your elbows are on the block or your elbows on the floor. We're going to sit in this stretch. Yeah? And hands coming up. We're going to scooch this leg in towards a pigeon. So again, my front leg or my right leg now is wanting to almost get to a straight line eventually, but for right now, it is on that downward slope. We're going to open and close those hips. So sitting back on that glute and then squaring up with the top of the mat. Hi, Artemis. It's a yoga block. And opening up those hips, that back leg is going to bend. That front leg is going to straighten out. We're going to have a pointed toe there. We are going to come to a forward fold in front. And we are going to come all the way down as much as we can, pointed toe. And flexing that front leg. And pointing it out. Beautiful. Coming all the way up, we are going to lean back on that back leg, so it is still bent behind me. We are in our jazz split. If we're back here and we're just leaning back on our hands, stay right there. If we can come down to our elbows, or all the way down. And when we are all the way down, we want to make sure that our knee is still connected towards the ground. It's not coming up. Knee is still towards the ground. And take a couple deep breaths here. And last deep breath. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Come all the way up. Are we fighting? We're going to come into a pike stretch, trying not to be in the battlefield. Pike stretch, toes pointed forward. We're going to take our forward fold over towards our feet. And flexing those toes. And pointing out those toes. Beautiful. We are going to come into our butterfly stretch, and then we are going to go towards our right and left front and back split. So we are doing our little butterflies here, grabbing our toes, opening up our hips a little bit more. How do you feel? Do you feel any difference from your first episode with us? I hope you do. I definitely do. I am stretching with you guys, so I am stretching a lot more than I used to, but I know I should be stretching a lot more than I actually am. So thank you guys for being the motivation for me to stretch and do things. It's a fun time. All right, beautiful. So this is where we are going to be using our yoga block, our book, our coffee table, wherever we're going to be needing it. This is going to be helping us as balance. This isn't going to be our crutch. We're not going to be putting all of our weight on it, but this is just in case we do need to save ourselves. So we are going to be going into our front and back split. I'm going to start off with my left side because that is my least practiced side. So when I do go onto my right side, it's a lot better on that side, and I end on a good note. So I am starting off on my left side. I am using my yoga block at least to get me in here. All right, left leg, and I'm going to face this direction. Left leg is going to come into the front. I'm going to start off with that bent leg in front, but I am going to have that straight leg behind me. So using my yoga block, I'm going to start to inch my front leg forward, inch those toes towards the end of the mat. I want to make sure my hips are squared, though. They are. My hips are lining up with this front line of my mat. I'm not turning out to you guys. See how my hips are now. Open. I want my edge of my hips to be lined up with the front of the mat. There's going to be a point where you can no longer inch your toes. Woo! I am using my yoga block to kind of give me as a brace. My left hand has some weight on it as well. Eventually we will want to be doing this without our hands or anything on the ground. Couple deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Alright, we're going to hang out here. With every exhale, try and go deeper into that stretch. Bending that back leg. Woo! Oh my goodness. Oh. Definitely feel that stretch. That was my left side. That was actually not so bad. I know I can do better. But that is, goals for me. Goals to stretch a little bit more, maybe morning and night. It's super good to stretch before bed so your body's all relaxed. It doesn't have any tension from the day. So just in case, you might also want to rewatch this during the evening before you're out to bed. You might find it easier to sleep or get to sleep. I'm going to do my right leg in front now. So my right leg in front, starting off in that lunge, finding my way on the mat, using my toes to inch my way across. I am on my yoga block already to keep me as balanced. I want to square my hips off towards the front. I want to have a pointed front toe. Let's see if I can get my hands off the ground. For us that are already in our splits, if you want, you can shove this yoga block underneath your front foot and be extra and more flexy, which is awesome. I'm going to use it as my just in case. So if I do fall into the center or to the back, I have something to lean on. But as for my right side, I did make my goal of lifting my hands. I now just have to get it on the left side as well. Alright, and coming out of that split, close up those legs. We're going to go back into our butterfly stretch. Woo. After this, we're going to grab a drink of water. It's going to be great. Oh. And it's good that we're doing our stretches a little bit early before the heat comes back. I hope you guys are staying cool today as well. If you have a pool in your backyard, awesome. I'm super jelly right now. If you guys want to even run a cold bath, that's always fun as well. I've been doing that more since the heat wave. Not so much hot water, but, almost like pool water. Alright, that left arm and that left knee are going to connect, and you're going to turn to the right side. And opposite side, right hand to right knee, turning to the left. And beautiful. We are going to go grab a drink of water. I'll see you back here in just a sec.
Oh my. Destroyer of worlds over here.
Right, I love stretching. I know it's good for you, but it's also one of those things that I know can be so frustrating. I definitely was not born flexible. I can tell you that. I have to thank my mom for putting me into gymnastics as a kid. I probably just had way too much wiggles. So she was like, energy somewhere, learn a backflip or something. So that's kind of how I became flexible, and I did work at it as well. It's not one of those things where you can do every once in a while and expect to have your full split. Unless you're genetically born that way, then, props to you. You probably have a family of, circus or contortion folk. But those of us who do have to stretch to get our split or our oversplit, helping us with acrobatics or anything like that, you gotta stretch before, after, even on your off time. We have a lot of time right now where we can just, watch TV and stretch at the same time. So I hope you guys are doing so. We're gonna go down into our cooldown stretches, and I'm going to send you off for today, and Coach Freelove will be doing our Little Heroes class. So starting off, standing, we're totally good here. We're gonna rotate our shoulders back slowly. Slowly. We had a lot of weight on our shoulders today, a lot of pressing through our arms. I want to make sure those are taken care of. And rotate those shoulders forward. And right arm over our left, or in front of us, and our left is going to come straight up. Rotate that thumb down now. Oof. And throw those arms away. Left arm across our chest, right arm is pressing in, thumb up. And rotate that thumb down. And throw those arms away. We're going to do a fun, different thing. I did this in my old cooldown stretches. So we are going to come into a prayer position, or our hands are going to align side by side. So I'm going to come up and over my head, and I'm going to come straight down the center of my face, pushing those shoulders down, and I'm going to push through those hands. So if you're looking, I'm looking at a reflective surface. If you can see, my arms are bowing towards the center. I'm not letting go of that tension. I'm pushing my hands towards each other, and I'm pushing my wrists down towards the ground. My shoulders are pushed down as well. They're not rising up to my ears. My fingers are going to come straight, and I'm going to turn them forward. Almost like an anime character. I'm about to do something towards you, but I'm not, I promise. And then we're going to rotate those hands downwards now. So that bow should change, and actually mine looks like a flat line right now, but if you can press your wrists up, woo, a little bit of good forearm stretch and wrist stretch. And shaking it out. Our feet are going to come a little bit bigger than shoulder width distance apart. We are going to come into a squat, all the way down, squat, until we are in our deep squat. So my elbows are going to find my knees. I can hang out here. I'm going to use my pressure here to also push my knees out and open. I tend to float back and forth. This is okay as well. Hands are going to come towards the ground, and I'm going to push my hips up. My heels also lift up as well to straighten out. And I'm going to let my head and my arms rest in this holdover. Taking your elbows in, you're going to go side to side. And stopping that side, those hands are going to brace the ground. We're going to come all the way to the ground into our straddle. Ooh, open up wherever it feels comfortable, not where you're pushing yourself like, I can't sit straight. We're just going to be here in our open, natural straddle, pointing our toes and flexing. Point through those toes again. Coming up and over towards the right side. My left arm's going to be up top. My right arm is reaching towards the ground. Straightening up towards that, I'm going to face that same side of the leg with a flat back now. And straightening up out of that. Same thing with the other side. I'm going to go towards my left. My right arm is going to be on top. My left is towards the mat. Using that top hand to pull you up, flat back towards the same side. And straightening up, going towards our middle now, only going to where we feel a stretch. And slowly backing those hands from wherever your center straddle was, shaking those legs together into a forward pike. Coming up and over those flat toes, those pointed toes. Oh my goodness. And flex those toes. All right, friends. That was our AcroFlex today. I hope you guys are feeling flexy and mobile and warm, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Stay tuned for our Little Heroes class after from 10:30 to 11 with Coach Freelove, and then we will see you back here on Monday at 3 o'clock for Parkour. Awesome. Have a good day, guys.